Hi, David. Okay, it is valuation day. Your watch is running. It's not real happy at all. My machine's having trouble even really getting a lock on it. I don't believe these numbers. This hasn't changed for 10 minutes of me looking at the numbers. I don't believe it. This isn't correct either. We all can go by is the what little we can make out of the information here. It's a mess. The watch just needs to be serviced. I mean, this is rough. It's not happy at all. The pallet fork is filthy. The balance is barely moving. Part of the problem is that the your lower mainspring arbor port is very worn. We're going to go like this. Okay, so lower mainspring arbor port. The arbor is kind of like the axle that the mainspring barrel turns on. This is the mainspring barrel. The axle, this screw sits on top of the axle. So the bottom of this axle, which is on the underside down there in the main plate, it just sits in a hole in the brass plate. But the arbor itself is stainless steel. So as this watch winds and winds and winds, it grinds its way sideways and it turns that round hole into an oval. So we can see that what happens then at that point is the whole barrel can start to tip over. And we can see that's happening here. See the brassing around the edge of this barrel? See this line of filth too next to it? See how much that's moving? I shouldn't be able to do that. If we watch this screw too, look at the reflections. See how much that's moving? Very, very, very worn. So we're going to have to install a jewel in the bottom of this to basically deal with that, which is good actually. It's an upgrade, and it means that that part won't wear anymore. It's I mean, overall it's not bad. It's a really early piece, January 1971. This is an early 6105. Not quite early enough to be a proof marked one, but early enough to be able to have the long sweep. You said you were more concerned with making this run than making it pretty. Okay, that's fine. I can certainly make it run. That's not a problem. Your dial loom is really decent. Me personally, I think the watch would be improved here if we reloomed the handset, and I have a kind of loom that I have invented that mimics this old Seiko loom. So you don't end up with a situation where the dial loom doesn't glow and the hand loom does. I have them so they glow at the same rate, which is not a lot. And that's, I think, a nice improvement. Just especially like here where it's all so black and grucky. I'm not sure how the plating on the hand surface will have come out. And I do have new old stock original hands that we could put on there, but they're the short ones. See, this is the long hand. It comes to here. The next generation had a slightly shorter hand where the division between the stoplights landed right across these lower parts of these markers. Me, if this was mine, I would strip the hands out and I would see how the plating held up, and I would relume them to match the dial because it would definitely improve the look of the watch. As for running, it's not really going to be a problem. It needs servicing, needs seals. The watch was serviced at some point in the past. This crown, I'm not sure what's up with this crown. It feels like the seal is actually holding. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's too long. See, look, we can see through a gap. There's a gap. This should be flush with the case because it's not flush with the case. It doesn't lock. No, it's not holding. If we go there, it's hacking. That's good. Quick set works. No, your crown seal is not holding. That was just gruck in there. Yeah, and your cannon pinion or your center wheel, that is really loose. There's no grip there. See how, I don't know if you noticed that the last time I pulled that out, the hand moved on its own. See that? It shouldn't do that. That means the cannon pinion's all loose. So it's going to need probably a cannon pinion, potentially a cannon pinion and a center wheel. It's going to need lower mainspring arbor port repair with a jewel. I personally would recommend relooming the handset. I wouldn't touch the dial. The dial is beautiful. I mean, unless you really wanted me to, but we'd have to really talk about that. I wouldn't recommend it. And I'm going to have to rebuild this crown and the stem to make it correct. That's nice, though. It's an early piece. That's cool. Okay, let me know if you want me to move ahead. Thank you.